Hello, it's NaNoWriMo day 22 here on the Narrative Dude channel. My name is John, and thanks for dropping in. If you are so inclined and don't mind, please subscribe to this channel, drop a like on it. Most importantly, leave a comment. I enjoy answering comments and interacting with anybody that takes the time to check out these videos. So, today was better than yesterday. That's no hyperbole necessary. Had a good writing session this morning. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the directions the story is going in. I've started to get to a point that I can see there are some adjustments I need to make. The life of the pantser, or the discovery writer, a new term I just heard, can be mysterious, maybe unplanned at best, but I can see already that there are some elements I'm going to have to go back and adjust a bit when I do a rewrite. And also in terms of the overall direction, the case of the characters doing what the characters want to do rather than me being, self-imposing a narrative on them. Kind of the real narrative starts coming out, and I enjoy that process. This is one of the best experiences I've had in a long time with just kind of surrendering to the narrative. One issue that always comes up, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, is worrying about what people will see in the writing, if they will see themselves scripted in somehow, for better or for worse. Will family recognize elements that they represent? It can be enough to stop your writing cold, and as you consider this. And I really believe that as a writer, you just simply have to go with it. You're not making a secret of being a writer. You are writing stories, you're creating novels, whatever your genre or format is. So your family, your friends should realize that, like Truman Capote said, did you not realize I was taking notes? Everything that comes into a writer's experience is reasonable material for especially going out to fiction. So I think the best thing you can do is not be obsessed with making sure that you're not insulting anyone in your family. I mean, if you become overly concerned with that, it is going to affect your writing. There's a happy medium, I think, that everybody can make, and honestly, if you're not able to come to a solution for that yourself, in your own kind of space, maybe it's not time to write that story. For me, the story, when the story's ready, it pushes its way out. It doesn't, regardless of, who or what or how, it's there, and I simply have to write it. So in the end, your family's your family, but your writing is also your writing. And the reading today, I want to read from MFA in a Box. I picked this book up new, so only my scribblings are in it. But there's a section here that a little bit of meat to it, not too long, but I like. It's concerning the topic that I just discussed, family and those type of things, but also what some other writers say about it. In this case, we jump to the section where the author John Rimber is writing about, starting off with Joan Didion. Joan Didion ends her preface to Slouching Towards Bethlehem with the sentence, "That is one thing to remember. Writers are always selling somebody out." Kurt Vonnegut had a riff he repeated to his college audiences who showed up for an evening of being lectured to by someone who actually made money being a writer. He told them, "I realize that some of you may have come in hopes of hearing tips on how to become a professional writer. I say to you, if you really want to hurt your parents and you don't have the nerve to be a homosexual, the least you can do is go into the arts." Vonnegut is being funny here by twisting an unfunny truth, which is that if you're homosexual, it's likely that you know far more about the power of family than if you're heterosexual. Even if parents aren't worried, siblings are. And if siblings aren't, aunts and uncles or children are. In almost every instance, the worry for them is going to be a lot less if you stay in the closet. Families are conservative institutions, which is why political and social conservatives constantly invoke them, even when their policies starve children and destroy educational institutions and ostracize some members of the family. But Vonnegut isn't really talking about homosexuality. He is talking about writing and how it can be seen as something shameful, yet powerful and seductive by people who stand on the outside of it. Vonnegut could have put it differently. He could have said, if you really want to find out if your family loves you or hates you, become a writer. Even especially that last paragraph, is uh, a fantastic observation on the nature of being a writer. And it is a good way to kind of reverse the polarity of the family issue. So take that for what it's worth. I like that reading too because it reminds me when I was a freshman at Indiana University. It was 1983, and Kurt Vonnegut was speaking, and he used that very similar opening. He also gave some really interesting uh, uh, information, and I did have the opportunity to get in a closer group. This his initial presentation and lecture were to a packed house at the Indiana University. I can't remember the hall, but it was a huge space, and it was not all that small when I got to be part of a smaller group, but it is one of those seminal moments in my life that I can reach. That is someone that may have been the first time that I saw an actual writer that I really followed and enjoyed the writer's work. So a little bit of nostalgia there, but I I owe it to Kurt Vonnegut to make mention of it, and he is a favorite of mine. I hope at some point I can do some video and some work at the Kurt Vonnegut Library that's down in downtown Indianapolis. I think that'd be an interesting place to check out and to at least do some entries from her if possible. So if you're around Indianapolis and you want to check it out, I would strongly check it out. I'll put the link along with the MFA in a box link in the show notes. Okay, word counts for today. I did 2,447 words. That brings me up to a total of 42,996. I could have, maybe added 4 more words to it and gotten to an even 43,000, but I am at, 7,000 more words, and I've hit my 50,000 K goal. So I think I'm going to hit it at least a day early, but I'm going to keep writing this. As I've said in a previous day tape, this is definitely going to be probably around 65,000 words. Is like getting a feel for where the second act ends and the third act picks up, and where the climax is and how that's kind of evolving, and what I want my endpoint to be for this story. So just 7,000 more words. Drop me a comment. Let me know how you're doing, how far along you are, any insights or difficulty you've encountered. Again, I do really enjoy answering comments. So, as I've said before, If you are so inclined, please subscribe, press the like, turn on notifications, but most importantly, leave me a comment. I do want to talk as much as possible. And with that said, I'll close off day 22. And as always, go out there and write a good story.